first time I learned about the Holocaust, I was 10 years old. I used to sneak downstairs when the family was asleep at night to watch old movies on television. And one night, they showed Judgment at Nuremberg, and I was terrified. I was so frightened, but I was afraid to wake up my parents. I would be punished. But my grandmother lived with us. She never got angry with me, so I went to her room and I cried and I said, how could so many people kill children and babies, and I'm so afraid. And she went to a box on her dresser and she took out this letter. When my grandmother died, I took the letter for myself. And I'm going to share it with you tonight. It's dated Berlin, Germany, 1946. We all live in one house, not like before the war. Then we had houses in the city and a summer house too. We were not common people. When the war came, we suffered so much. Our homes were destroyed, bombed, our beautiful city bombed. Now, there's not enough food. We do not have agencies like UNRWA to help us, not like the Jews. Well, I don't begrudge them, they suffered too, but I did nothing to them. And Germans have hunger just like the Jews. All the Jews think I hate them. I don't hate them. When I was young and I studied in America, in Baltimore, Maryland, I had Jewish friends. You were my friend. I dated a Jewish man. You must remember that. You knew me then. I don't understand how it all changed, how I changed, why that happened. When Hitler came to power, we laughed at him, his silly mustache, his comic salute. When he said all Jews are thieves, I thought him absurd. But he said it so many times. And finally, I thought about Mr. Yusselman at the bank. Maybe it was his fault my father's pension disappeared. When Goebbels told us that Jews were by nature violent and wanted to destroy the German race, I began to wonder if my mother's ulcer really needed to take so long to heal, or if Dr. Bronstein didn't do something bad to her. I have not been blessed with children of my own. My students have been my children. When the Jewish students had to leave the university, they started their own schools. It seemed like a good solution for everyone. Then the deportations began. Yaakov and Herschel Rosenfeld came to me for help. Then Lily Goldstein, all former students. They needed a place to hide, and they came to me. I was alone, and I turned them away, but I did not report them. I know now that that was not enough. What else could I do? I was alone, I was afraid. My husband was too old for the regular army. He joined the police, and his battalion followed the army into Russia. He sent me photos of what they did in the East. On the back of each he wrote, 1,000 Jewish lives for every bomb that falls on the fatherland. 600 today, 1,200, 1,800. So you see, that was how I learned that doing nothing to help my students was the same as doing harm. Carl is buried with the Jews in Russia. His heart could not take the cold weather. I only have money for one letter. Please write to me. And if you're able, please send money. Your friend, Ilse. When my grandmother read this to me, I asked her, well, what did you do? And she looked at me and she said, well, what would you do? And I said, well, it's not my letter, so I wouldn't tear it up, but I wouldn't answer it either. And my grandmother said to me, you see how much you are like your grandmother? I too did nothing. Now today, they're busy in our country and in other countries. They're banning books. They're targeting people who they claim are different from them. And most of all, they're murdering children. So I ask you, all of you, what will you do?